Okay, so I've got another video, and I'm going to show you guys how to make cheap dollar ramen amazing. So, first thing I'm going to do, just to go ahead and get ready, is I've already boiled my egg to save some time, because you're going to need an egg. And the seasonings I'm using is just stuff you should already have. Parsley, garlic powder, MSG, and if you say this stuff rots holes in your brains, you're wrong and you need to do some research. This stuff is magic. And then some pink Himalayan sea salt. You can use normal salt. You can use normal black pepper, but I've got fresh ground black pepper. A little bit of butter. Some onion. I'll cut that up in a second. Canned mushrooms. I prefer fresh mushrooms, but all I've got is canned, and I'll show you how to make that taste way better. And I normally use bell peppers, but instead all I've got is some frozen okra that Mom and Dad gave me last time I visited them, so stuff's good. It'll work. Alright. And a bowl and a spoon, obviously, to eat it with. Now, this is actually a bowl and a spoon made specifically for ramen, and if you love ramen, you should get one. So first thing we're going to do is going to cut up our vegetables. We'll start with the onion. You want a nice sharp knife. And I usually do, I don't know, pieces about that big. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I like a lot of onion, so I enjoy the flavor. If you don't, you don't have to. Whatever you're feeling. Take this stuff, put it in a bowl. That's all I'm going to need. I'm just going to throw this in the sink. Alright. And then we're going to chop up this stuff. Get rid of the stem. And then the tops. This stuff cuts a lot better when it's frozen, but I let it thaw out. Alright, and about the same thickness on these, not too thick, but because this stuff's going to get soggy and try to fall apart when we cook it. And I'm actually kind of regretting letting it thaw out because it's a bit mushy now. These into the sink and grab my other little bowl and put the cut okra in here. And this is just a substitute. I usually use bell peppers, but just want something green in there and it'll work and it's healthy. Not necessarily after I'm done with it. And then I'm just going to leave this right here. Get this out of the way. And now that that's cut, let's go ahead and put our noodles in the bowl. Now most ramen noodles are literally just a brick of noodles. Throw that in there, make a little bit of a mess. And then they usually come with a powder. That's the broth. So I'll just go ahead, open that up. But first thing I do is press that brick all the way to the bowl towards the bottom. And then sprinkle our powder all over it. And then take our garbage, crumple it up, and get it out of the way. All right, next thing we're gonna do is parsley. To me, some people say they can taste it. I can't taste it at all. I just use it to make things pretty. Everything looks nicer with a little bit of a green garnish on it. And then I'll just add just a little bit, not much, just a little garlic powder. Here's where the wonder magic comes in, a little bit of MSG. It literally makes anything hearty taste so much better. Just a sprinkle of salt on that. And fresh ground pepper, another little sprinkle of that. Alright, and we're going to take this and set it aside because it's going to be, we're going to work with that completely last next. Alright, and then I've made a bit of a mess here. So let me scoot some of this stuff out of the way. And we're going to take our skillet. What we're going to do is saute those vegetables. Ugh, got stuff all over the place. And get our skillet nice and warm. You use whatever skillet you want to. I use cast iron because I freaking love cast iron. Now while that's getting hot, go ahead and set this. It's got a toothpick in here so I can spread it around. But I put that in there so I know when the thing is ready. And in the meantime, we've got a pork chop over here we're going to use for our meat. And yes, I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't. Let me change it. I'm using my sous vide over there to cook the pork chops in freezer bags. And you don't have to have that. You can just cook it in a skillet. But it's delicious if you like it, ever use a sous vide. Yeah, and I'm using rubber ducks on the top to keep the water from steaming off. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is grab my paper plate. Now, this is stuff you have to do specifically when you cook with a sous vide. Scissors. I don't have scissors. Well, crud. All right. I tried to get everything that I needed, and I forgot scissors. So now that I've cut open my plastic bag, I'm going to take some tongs and just grab that cooked piece of meat. Now, you'll notice it probably doesn't look super appetizing because it's not seared. So we're going to sear that in a second. But first we've got to get some of that moisture off of there. So, let me grab a paper towel and fix this so you can see what I'm doing. Paper towel, just dab it dry. Don't have to press real hard. Flip it. Dab this dry. Ooh. Oh no, my butter's falling over. That's gonna be interesting to try to fish out of there. Oh. Come on, tongs. Come on. Yep, it's hot, just like I thought it would be. Alright. Now our skillet is ready, and we're just going to add in our ingredients. And we're going to saute them in butter. That's real butter, but you can use margarine. I don't like to personally, but it's your call. Now, just mix these around and turn the heat down on that sucker to about medium. And just let it do its thing. Now that this is ready, I'm going to grab my little spacer here, and I'm going to sear it real quick on blowtorch. And this just makes it a little bit more crunchy and just changes the texture a little bit. Now, I don't want to sear it like blackened because I'm going to cut this up into thin strips and use it in the ramen. And if I cut it up and blacken it, it won't there's all these little black charred bits of meat floating around the ramen, and I don't necessarily want that. You may like it, but that is not what I do. Stir this up a little bit. And that's good enough for me. So, take our other cutting board, just take our meat, set it right there. And I got another knife for meat. And then, let's see how do I want to cut this. Yeah, alright. Try to keep it in a general shape of a pork chop. I don't want to mix it all up because it looks nicer when we put it in the bowl. Alright. And you eat the end pieces because they're delicious. Alright. Take our meat, just like this. Place it in the bowl like that. And then just give it a little bit tilt. Oh, when you cook in a sous vide, oh, it looks amazing. And it tastes, it's the most juiciest meats you'll ever have because all that just stays together. Just mix around our vegetables a little bit more. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit on it. And then we'll take our boiled eggs. One here. One here. Alright. And we've already got our water boiling over here. Now that those are starting to get nice and ready over on the cast iron, I'm going to start adding our spices. Just a little bit more MSG in here. Decent amount of garlic powder. A little bit of parsley. Everything looks better with parsley. I like a little generous amount of salt. And then a little bit of black pepper. Then we're going to mix it all in. Now I know it started with butter, but sometimes if it takes longer to cook, you'll cook yourself out of butter. And I'll just grab a little bit of olive oil, and sprinkle that in there, but I don't actually need it right now. And you want this stuff to keep moving. It's almost like stir frying. You want it all get heated evenly and brown properly and all that stuff. And I'm gonna actually turn up the heat a little bit more. I cook things too hot. Everybody always tells me that. It's always how I cook stuff. When I want food, I want it now, and I want it quick. Now, I probably should have added the onions in first, just to get them done, because it takes a little while to get those onions broken down. Because I don't like crunchy onions. I like soft, mushy onions. And here's what it looks like right now. It got a little bit longer. And this stuff is so good, you could just eat it by yourself. I mean, like that alone. Sauteed vegetables of any kind is just delicious. Alrighty, and I think they're about ready. I'd actually cook these a little bit more, but these are for Jess, and she likes them a little bit crunchy. Kill the heat there, and let's get this bowl, this knife and this stuff out of the way. Alright. Actually, it might be easier to pick it up like this. And just kind of sprinkle it all around. Okra is escaping. I'm not able to pick it up just right, so I'm going to get individual pieces and throw them in there. Alright. Set that over there. Ooh, almost spilled the boiling water. That would not have been good. Alright, and then we take our water, and you just want to, here we go, you just want to pour it in there, just until the brick of ramen at the bottom is covered. And we had just enough water to do that. Awesome. Alright, and as soon as that's done, this is the most important part of all this entire process. As soon as you got your boiling water in there, put something over it. And I've got this mortar and pestle right here, and I'm just going to put that on top so it's got a good seal. And yeah, we'll let it sit. And you want to let it sit anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Once it's done, it'll be delicious. I like to set mine probably for like a little bit longer because I kind of like my noodles to be soggy. So I'll let it set for about 10 minutes. But most people would like a little bit of a firmer noodle. And would rather probably have it around 2 or 3 minutes. But that's it. That's how I make cheap ramen with stuff that most people have around the house. I would hope that you have an onion. I would hope that you have mushrooms and something green. Like I said, I use okra this time.